Well, today I am checking in with someone all the way over in Germany, Ernesto Heen. Ernesto, how are you today?
Hello, good morning. This is Ernesto. I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me over for this series. I'm happy to join in and yeah, talk a little bit about what is going on my side at the moment.
Great. So tell me about what you're up to. I know you shared with me some pieces of artwork that you wanted to talk about. So why don't
Yeah,
we just jump right in?
yeah, perfect. So the pieces that I sent you over, and you might want to share it with your audience as well, are a little bit unusual for what I normally do because in this unusual times, I do unusual stuff as well. So, but this is really not the case. It's much more widen my view on artwork in general and art making in general. So, as you probably know, I'm also giving classes on watercolor techniques and drawing techniques. So I'm coming from the oil painter side, which is actually my main field. So my paintings, my creative work is in oils, but from time to time I'm exploring different media and also work into this in order to inform my work
Good.
actually. So what I did right now is to explore a little bit much more into using pigments, different pigments, combinations in watercolors, which is completely different from oil painting, as you probably know as well. It's
Yes.
very, very different at times. So yeah, what I do at the moment with my classes that can't go on as usual, as you also have the situation over in the US, everything is on lockdown right now,
Yep.
and I can't give classes. So what I invented in the meantime is giving online classes, online courses, which run, of course, a little bit different because it's not that practical and it's not that hands-on working with my students, but it's much more about techniques, about philosophy as well, and yeah, the way how a creative process works. And I'm sharing with them sometimes pieces I work on, and we discuss their work. And so the idea for me created out of this was to also work on watercolors a little bit more intensive, as I have also the time now to do it. So, which
Yeah.
is the good side of the current situation, that I think for many artists these days, it's really like, yeah, concentrate on work, which is beautiful when you really have time on your hands and can work like the whole day. So the paintings I sent you over, maybe just to focus on that a little bit, they are all watercolors, but they're very different
Yep.
from each other. I also plan to make a little bit artwork available on my website to purchase, because I found out I have so many paintings and I need to get rid of them right now. So I need to create more space for my new works and so on. And so these
I
will
can
also
relate to that.
these will also form part of this little sellout, which I'm going to do soon. So the pieces I've sent you over, one is called The Weight, which which is actually mixed media, because I started off in watercolors and then I finished it off in charcoal. And The Weight is kind of a painting where I wanted to try using media in a different level in the painting. So you have the background created, which is a magnolia flower in full bloom, which is really good for watercolors to explain explain the tenderness of a flower, because the medium itself is so thin and it's really just pigment on paper.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, the charcoal layer is really like actually the stage before the flower breaks into bloom, which is really the dry branches of this tree, which kind of form a different view on the painting. So it's very different depending how you look at it. And the way it describes actually what I experience right now, because our magnolia trees, we have many in our garden, and normally we have a frost and they can't flower, so every flower falls off. And this year actually it flowers, so this was the reason how I created it. But I actually wanted to test those two media in one painting, watercolor. This is one piece. The second one has a German title. It's called Mittagsfrische, which, well translated, would be like the freshness of the day, of the midday. This is a painting which where I tried to use a very limited palette. So it's very yellow and very green, and it appears very yellow. And for me, it was really to explore all the range of the yellows and the greens to combine it together. I myself find it very difficult to work with greens in watercolor because they're changing rapidly, and the feeling you get out of the green is so different. I don't know if you have the same experience.
So I will tell you, green. So this is how I think green is really difficult to work with, but I feel like it is really broad, and I don't understand it. So blue, for example, I really understand blue. I know that you have the green side, you have the violet side, and I know where I am when I'm looking at a blue anywhere in that range, and I know how to use pigments to move myself, through the hue and move myself in the chroma. Green, I don't know where I am. It seems really big, it seems really broad, and I always feel lost, and I don't know how to navigate and change it.
It's a very interesting, well, technically it's very interesting as well, because green is one of the secondary colors, which is mixed, out of yellow and blue. And it's a range between the yellows and between the blues. Depending what blue you start with in order to mix your greens, the direction is given, so to say. But the range, it's really vast. So the types of green you can mix from those two colors is just enormous.
Does it seem bigger? Does it seem bigger than other colors?
It is.
It is.
Okay. It has something to. There's an optical thing to it. So how the light breaks on the pigments and how you see the color, how your eye sentiment is on the color is broader than with other mixtures. So it's very interesting. And for that, I think it's really challenging, really, to make a good painting with green.
Yeah, I know on a personal level, I'm going to have to just spend time with green. Like it's like a project that I'm going to have to work on, is exploring green and just spending time with it and doing some paintings with it. But okay, great.
So yeah, this painting, you see a lot of green in this painting, and you see the differences of greens. But the challenge was, from a technical point of view, really to bring this painting together. This was the main target for it, and I think I worked on that one very long, which is unusual a little bit for watercolors, because it's such fast process, actually, because the water dries out and then it's done, more or less. But there I went back and forth and changed it a lot and put a lot of layers on it. But I'm quite happy with the result. It's pretty large.
What's the size of this?
I can give you in centimeters, 70 by 40 centimeters. So I don't know how many inches that is.
Okay. That's about,
But probably the size of the painting in your background, which I see from here.
okay.
So, yeah.
This guy here,
Exactly.
that is
Yes.
24 by 36 inches. So 2
Okay.
feet
So
by
it
3 feet.
might be around this. Yeah. Exactly.
I love the fact that your sky is this, well, it's hard to see because I'm looking on a computer screen, so I don't know the actual color, but
It's not blue.
it's not blue, and I like that.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. When you work with so many directions of one color, you know, that when you really brought in a completely different color to kind of make your combination to get it painted, to get the painting together, it's really difficult. So if I would have chosen a blue sky, that would have broken everything apart with
It
the
would have.
greens.
It would completely would have. No, I think I agree.
Yeah, this was the second painting, and the third one is also very, very different from the others. It's an imaginative painting of the Central Park in New York. So that was actually created out of one of my classes that I was teaching, because I wanted them to do two things: to look back with no reference photo or anything else, but just work from memory. That's the first thing, and
Work on their what?
also
From their memory?
from the memory. So when they were on holiday somewhere, or remember a place which they like, for example, where they have a good idea about, and to reconstruct it in a painting, not with regard to every detail, you know, because you can't remember every detail often, but to create a scenery of a landscape, of a room, or something, a place that you know quite well. So that was the first task. The second task was to work just in one color. So a monochromatic watercolor painting, if you want. And as you see in New York, I chose just to use a gray, yeah, a mixed gray, and then I worked in this. So that's rather a small painting, but I was quite happy how it turned out. So for me, this is my feeling when I look, you know, I don't know, from a high building onto one of the corners in the Central Park. So this is my idea. So the buildings is everything is made up, more or less. There's no reference used for this, but this was the idea. And I think, so the feedback I got, everybody who looks at this paint says, yeah, that's New York. So yeah, these are the things I'm testing out right now. I'm doing also a lot of other stuff. So of course I'm working on oils a lot. I work on my creative works, but I test a lot as well. So for a moment, I'm working in different styles, and I'm testing high chromatic colors. So if you want to imagine, if you have like a very bright color, just hold on a second. If you have a car, like a red car like this, so this is kind of really sparkling. And with my green jumper, this really stands out because it's a complementary color, you know. So I'm trying to work with this and create paintings with it, because it's not so easy to make a good painting in terms of how you compose it when you have complementary colors that stand opposite to each other. You need to be very careful where to place it, how much of it, how big the space you're using in order to get a harmony into the painting. So this is also the stuff I'm doing right now. So it's really varied. And I'm quite happy at the moment. Although it's yeah, a sad situation outside, you know, you can't see friends, and you feel a little bit caged in, but you have to make the best out of it.
Now, are you doing Zoom calls with friends or anything like that?
Yes, yeah, yeah. This is going on a lot, of course. Yes. Because I have friends, in Europe, that's quite usual. You have friends that live in Spain and Italy and Belgium and so on, and you want to stay in touch with them, which you normally usually do. But these days are strange. So you have the feeling that you have to get in contact much more. So we are having like parties on the telephone and so on. Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, it's
One
quite
thing
good.
that I started doing, which I'm sure people are doing, is Zoom dinners. So I have like one of those big cinema display Apple monitors. So
All right.
it's like right here, it's pretty big. So I have it on my dining room table, and I put it like right at a place setting. And then I have a friend staying with
Brilliant.
me, and we'll invite people over for dinner, and it's just like having them there.
Fantastic. Very good. And
It's like
I know
it's like the
you love to
Jetsons.
cook. You love to cook, so I think there's there's a lot you present during those dinners, right?
Yes, so I have obviously been cooking a lot and posting on social media a lot of things. My cooking,
Brilliant.
I will tell you that I'm cooking. I've never been a like dessert sugar sweet eater, but
Hmm.
for some
Hmm.
reason I've been exploring desserts and making puddings and mousses, and I'm kind of starting to like sugar now.
All right. Be careful, I say.
I know. Well, I'm also running, so
Okay. Yeah.
Been trying to run every day. I
Yeah.
technically, I don't know if you're supposed to be doing that, but I found a route. There's a huge cemetery near me, and
Okay.
the perimeter of the cemetery, it's all like big walls,
Mm.
and you can, and so there really aren't people walking on the sidewalks around the cemetery because it's mostly cement walls. So I found that route, so that is
Brilliant.
keeping
That's
me
you.
fit.
Brilliant. Very good. Yeah, I'm trying to keep fit as well because I can't go to the gym because the gyms are closed as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going on the bike from time to time, although I don't like really biking around. So what I do, I really misuse my garden at the moment to keep fit. So there's a lot of gardening going on.
Oh, good. That's great exercise.
Yeah, yeah, it is absolutely. So over Easter, for example, I was building a raised bed, to
Oh,
put in
nice.
some plants, and it's quite large. So that was a lot of work, but it's good as well. Yeah.
Oh, great.
But also, I'm looking forward to a better time, because I think what I experience from friends and also from people that I teach, they feel isolated, especially, people that live in the city or in the city center. When there's so many people around, but you can't see them. This is a
Yeah.
bit strange.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
I'm.
mean,
Mhm.
I was just going to say, I mean, that's the reason why I reached out to artists to do this checking in with series,
Yeah,
just because, well, a couple things. First of all, I know that artists are used to working isolated. I mean, that's by nature what we do. So that
absolutely.
aspect of this whole thing isn't that different for us. And I assume that artists are probably moving forward and just creating artwork like they always would be. And I know that people are looking for different content to view because they're stuck at home and probably on the computer. And rather than watching the news, which could probably be
Yeah,
very depressing, I figured, why don't I pull together artists that are just moving forward with their normal work lives
brilliant.
in a sense, with people in a way that sort of is maybe helpful and entertaining and just making a connection. So thank you for
Yeah,
being part of this.
thank you for having me.
All right,
Yeah,
Ernesto, you have a good day.
thank you. You too.
All right, bye.